Hello, hello. Happy Friday. It's almost weekend, my friends. Welcome to this stream. This is Daily Creative Challenges. My name is Julia Masalska and I'm your host for this and the upcoming week of daily challenges. So let me know where you all are tuning in from. Let me know what you all are in the mood for. I'm definitely in the mood for some ice cream, and we're going to be luckily designing for our ice cream festival today. Today's challenge is going to be all about designing wristbands for a movie theater that's part of the festival. So I'm really excited. Hi Fabio, hi Kita, hi Cody. Laura is here, and Siva, Faiza, Nick. Wow, so many amazing people. Also, if you're joining us from YouTube, make sure to head over to behance.net/live. This is where we are live right now. I'm right now, as I speak, reading the comments, and you can ask your questions there regarding the Daily Creative Challenge, or just any design questions are welcome. So Siva is saying, I need hot coffee. I'm half asleep. Yeah, I definitely had a lot of coffee, and some of you know this cup already. This cup has been through a lot with me, and it has actually disappointed me quite a few times. Just spilling on my desk and affecting all of my electronics, and it's a huge cup, so it's a lot of coffee, and you can imagine what kind of mess that is. Yeah, Jack, happy Friday. Awesome. Cool. So yeah, I love coffee, but I don't like spilling coffee. That's why I put my cup really far away. And I recommend you all to do the same thing. All right, so daily creative challenges. We are learning Illustrator step by step here. If you are into Illustrator and want to learn more, or if you're transitioning careers from anything else into design, this is a perfect platform for you. And first of all, if you are new here, I would like for you to join us at bit.ly/AI Discord. This is where you can join our amazing Discord community, where you can submit your daily creative challenges, and this is what it looks like. We have some amazing challenge submissions here. Look at that. How cool does this look? This one is by Faiza, and this one is by Marie, and this one is by YM. I really love the dimensionality in this. I think it came out great. We also have this submission here by Farai, and then we also have Silky Stone here with Ice Cream Festival submission. Really cool. I love it. And then we have Heidi Ray here also. 3 delicious new flavors. Happy Sunday, yummy lemon lime, cherry lime, and lemon cherry. Awesome. So I see y'all had lots of fun creating, and it looks all really great. I was a little bit worried because we had to kind of go a little fast yesterday, but I can see that you all have been following along and have been doing an amazing job. So thanks again for that. Now, oops, that's not what I wanted. Now let's take a look at our daily creative challenge page, and you can see here that we have wristband design for today, June 25th. And if once you click get started, you'll be able to access the starter file that I've made for you to work in. And here you'll be able to download it. Simply go into this file and download it. Okay, and then you'll be able to work along with me in Adobe Illustrator. And then you can also, of course, rewatch the video, which is this video where I'm introducing the Daily Creative Challenge. Cool. All right. So this is that. And once you click Take the Challenge, you will also be able to sign up for email notifications once a new challenge comes out. And you can also join the community chat right here, which is also our Discord channel. So that's just another way to get closer to our community. All right, friends, so let's jump right into this. How are you all doing? Stony saying, very nice work, everyone. I totally agree. So this is our starter file, and let's jump into Adobe Illustrator. And here we have our wristbands that we're going to be designing today. And so these wristbands are for a film show that is part of the festival, and I would like for you to pick 2 movies that you think would work well with this. And I have picked 2 movies that have to do with ice cream, and there is this lovely page that you can find on the internet. It's called 19 Coolest Ice Cream Scenes in Movies. And here you can get some inspiration on which movies you can use. It's a Wonderful Life, Roman Holiday, and all of these movies have some really cool ice cream scenes in them. So feel free to check that out. And there's also The Shining, which I picked. I really love The Shining. I think it's a great movie. And also a great book by Stephen King. Awesome. Anthony, hi. Good to see you. All right. Cool. Feel free to shoot any questions into the chat. So don't be shy. Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, let's do this. So we have our wristbands, and as you can see, I have already applied a drop shadow to them. Once you click on these two rectangles, you'll be able to see that we have the drop shadow effect applied. Now, I would like for you to learn how that works and how to apply a good realistic shadow. So I'm going to pull these by side for now, and I'm going to create two new rectangles that look like wristbands. So for now, I'm using a light gray color, but you can pick any color from here or from this file, or you can also just go into the fill color and right here, double click on it and select any color of your choice that you want to select. All right. In my case, I'm going to use the eyedropper tool with the letter I on the keyboard, and I'm going to select this pink color. All right. And I'm going to hold Option and Shift and drag a copy of my rectangle to the bottom. Now let's take a look, and we are going to make this one a little bit darker so that we can see the difference between the drop shadows and what the drop shadows of a lighter and a darker rectangle should look like. All right, so let's select one of these, the top one, and we're going into Effect. What was that again? Stylize and one second. Oh yeah, stylize up here. Stylize and drop shadow. All right, there are a lot of really cool effects. You can even do 3D, convert to shape, crop mark, distort and transform is something that we used yesterday with zigzag. And then we have the pathfinder that we also have in the properties panel. And we can also rasterize and rasterize. I always think of a rasta, that like hair and reggae and stuff, so it's funny. Anyway, so and then we have also SVG filters and warp, but what we want to go is we want to go into stylize and drop shadow. Okay, now if we look at this, it's pretty harsh. It's a pretty harsh drop shadow. It doesn't quite look realistic. So what we can do to make it look more realistic is where we have the opacity right here, we're going to turn down the opacity maybe to 25%. Let's take a look what that looks like. Probably already better, right? It already looks like a more realistic shadow. Now, another important thing that we should think about is the size of the shadow. The larger the shadow, the further away from the surface does this wristband appear. So if I make the drop shadow, let's say 50 and 50, it looks like my drop shadow just, let's leave that on like 5. And it looks like my shadow is further away from the object, right? So it looks like my wristband is kind of flying on and instead of laying on a surface, right? So what we want is we want the wristband to be really close to our ground surface, which is the white surface. So what we're going to do is we're going to make the Y offset maybe like 4 or 3 pixels. Let's see, this looks pretty good, and this one we can make even 3. And the smaller it gets, the more realistic it actually gets. So let's try a little bit smaller even. Okay, now this looks pretty good, right? It does look pretty realistic. Now let's try the same drop shadow for our black filled rectangle. And again, I'm going into Effect, Stylize, Drop Shadow, and I'm going to apply the same effect that comes with the presets that I just had. Okay, and you can see that there is a big difference. We can't really see the shadow of this rectangle as we can see it with the pink one, right? So how do we improve that? Let's work on this a little bit. And I think we need to adjust the numbers so that there is more contrast from the black rectangle than from the light pink rectangle, okay? So we're going to click on the object and we're going here into our properties panel, which you can activate by going to Window and activate properties, and go into here where it says drop shadow. Just click on it and you'll be able to adjust the already applied drop shadow. And we're going to increase the opacity maybe to 50. Let's see what that looks like. It's already a little bit better. And then maybe yeah, I think that should work actually. Or maybe we can even go up to 60 and click OK. Now we can see a shadow that's very comparable to the top one, although, you know, it's way more opacity that we have applied here. And I think I wanted to go back to 50. So now what I want to say with this is keep in mind the color of your artwork to place the drop shadow on it. Another factor that matters when placing drop shadows is your background. So let's say I'm going to apply this background, which is going to be like a gray color. Now, since I have just applied the rectangle for the background on top, it's covering everything, but I can go into right click, arrange, send to back. And now our drop shadows are pretty visible, right? Now, if I go in and maybe take a darker shade, our drop shadows are not that visible anymore. So we will need to again go in and work on the drop shadow and maybe, you know, increase the opacity here of our drop shadow to make it visible, right? So that it creates a little bit of a contrast to the background as well. So here we might go even to 80. All right, so and then when we go back, so right now it looks pretty realistic, right? But when we go back to a lighter shade, you will see the difference and it won't look realistic at all anymore. Now look, it's pretty harsh. It's pretty harsh now, right? Even if we remove the background, it's even worse. So keep that in mind when creating drop shadows for any object, that you will have to keep in mind the color, and sometimes you will have to have a different opacity in a light and a dark artwork, and then keep in mind the background. So that's just a little tip for you. Then what we are going to do is we're going to grab our logo that we've created in the first session, or we can simply take any of these fonts. So we can take this epitaph font, holding Option, just copy it into our design, right click, arrange, bring to front, and then we can type in Ice Cream Festival if we wanted to. Ice Cream Festival, and this is going to be our logo. Just imagine you've just created a logo. Otherwise, feel free to use your logo that we've designed last time, and I'm going to take mine and I'm going to group it with Command and G so that I can move it around seamlessly and I don't lose any objects that are part of the logo. And I'm going also to click Command Shift and O to outline the text so that I can scale it. And I'm going to right click, arrange, bring to front, so it's placed in as a front object and we're able to see it now. All right, now holding Option and Shift, I'm going to scale it down proportionally and place it in the corner of my pink rectangle. Cool. All right, so we have our logo applied, and I'm going to copy and paste the same logo with clicking and holding Option and Shift and dragging it down. And now you can see that some of the parts of my logo are not visible anymore because the background is black, and some of my elements, my smiley face, is black. So I'm going to select that. And by the way, if you look at it, my smiley face is not outlined yet. So let me pull this here so you can see it. So right now, my smiley face has a path in it that's not outlined. So the path has a stroke. So it has a width, but the width is not outlined. What we're going to do is we're going to now go into Object, Path, Outline Stroke. And now you can see the difference. Now we have not only a path with a stroke, but we have the whole shape of the path, including the stroke, outlined. Okay, so that's what I want to do to recolor my design. So now I have that all selected. And I'm going to click the eye on my keyboard for the eyedropper, and I'm going to select any of the colors that I want. So right now I have selected this pink for my logo, and now maybe I can select the stars by themselves. Holding shift, you can select multiple objects, and using the key I on your keyboard again to sample a different color. And I'm also using the shortcut V all the time on my keyboard to go back into the selection tool. So now we have that. That's already looking pretty cool. I might even take my smiley face and make it white. So I'm going to, again, to use the eyedropper tool, one of my favorites, letter I on the keyboard. And I'm going to sample this white color down here. There we go for the smiley face. Now when we zoom in, we can see that our smiley face now is white, and we have all the different colors in our design. Now, one thing that I've noticed is that in the pink design, our pink stars are not showing anymore. So I'm going to make them a different color. I'm going to make them white. Again, eyedropper tool, sampling a color, and V again to get back into selection. And there we go. We have all of our logos now visible and all of our elements working pretty well with the background. Now let's select our movie names, and mine are already here. My first movie name is Biography by Ben & Jerry's. And I also have The Shining by the book by Stephen King. And it's also a movie, as we saw earlier. So what we're going to do is we're going to place these movie names. Feel free to use the same ones if you don't feel like researching, but you can also feel free to pick your favorite movies that have an ice cream scene in them. Okay, and I'm going to take these text boxes. By the way, to create this text box, I simply took the Termina Black right here. So you can take this text object, click option and copy it into your artboard, and then you can adjust the size of the font. So you can go here into your font size, and you can select a larger font size, whatever fits best with your design. And then you will notice that this is divided into two lines. You can either keep it that way, or you can go in before the B and click one time on the delete button and one time on the space button, and then you'll have it all in one line. Okay, so that's how I've created these, and now I'm just going to pull those in, and now they are located underneath my rectangle. So I'm going to right click, arrange, bring to front. Okay, all right, let's see. Ice cream is on sale this week. Yes. Awesome, cool. All right, let me know if there are any questions in the chat. Feel free to put them there. Do you ever just adjust the hue of the drop shadow? Yeah, you could totally do that too. All right, right now my drop shadows were set to multiply. If you can see here, it's set to multiply. You can also go into screen overlay, soft light, hard light. Soft light is or hard light is pretty good to create another, or burn, or darken is also really good. So just try and experiment what looks most natural in your case. Okay, right now it's set to multiply, so it is going to consider the background color. So if I were to change this to, for example, red, you will notice that this will be shades of dark red here. So that's what multiply does. It creates multiplication between the two colors. All right, so let me go back, and so now we have Biography by Ben & Jerry's, and now we will also need a little sticky side, so we're going to use a rectangle like that. Whoop, and that one is going to have those little squiggly lines that are there to know that this is going to be stuck to the other side. Right, so I can go in and make some zigzags for this, and that we learned yesterday. We were using the line segment tool, create a line, and then we're going to effect, distort and transform, zigzag, and this is how we are going to make a zigzag. Now, of course, before we do this, we will need a color to our line so we can see what we're doing, because right now we can't. So I'm going to use a stroke right here. If you go down here and double click onto stroke, you will get to pick the color of the stroke, and I'm going to click OK. This looks perfect. Now let's go back to effect, distort and transform zigzag. And we're going to make the size of the zigzags way smaller, and we're going to also adjust the ridges per segment, which are going to be way bigger. So of course you can also make it smooth, like a nice wavy line. I'm going to keep it corner. Maybe we're going to make them just a little bit bigger like that. Okay, so I have the size set to 4 pixels and the ridges per segment 12. All right, so now I'm going to take this element and I'm going to kind of squeeze it into this black field, and I'm going to take that, hold Option and Shift, place it to the side, and from now on I'm going to repeat that same exact movement by clicking Command and D. Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D, Command D. Okay, now that we have created that group, we are going to select all of this. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's the background. Okay, so if you don't want to mess with the background, select the background and click Command and 2. Now it's locked. So now we can see and work with our elements that we want to work with. All right. So what I have done right now is I have selected all of these elements. Holding Shift, I'm clicking on the pink background to remove it from the selection, because I don't want to have it selected. And the reason why I want to have it selected is because I want to create a copy of this and place it here. But right now I notice that my zigzags are not quite well distributed. This side is pretty narrow and here there is way too much space. So I'm going to adjust the squigglies, the zigzags a little bit more to the right. And what I'm going to do is I'm holding Shift and clicking on the rectangle to just have the zigzags selected. I'm clicking on Command and G to group them. And I'm going to hold Shift and click back on the rectangle. And now I'm going into my properties and I'm going to align center horizontal like this. Now I know for sure that my zigzags are located in the center of the black rectangle. Now what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to click Option and copy them into the bottom design. Now I'm going to double click into this because it's a group, and I'm going to select the rectangle, click the letter I, and I'm going to make it pink. Clicking the letter V, shortcut for selection tool, get back into it, and now I have that same design just with a different color. And then I can also still go into the zigzags and I can apply a different color to the zigzags by selecting them all, double clicking into the stroke and making them, for example, black. Cool, right? I think this looks pretty cool so far. Now I have that and I have this, the shining, I'm going to make it pink. With the letter I again on the keyboard, I'm going to use that pink color and I'm going to right click, arrange, bring to front. There we go. Cool, right? And now we have 2 wristbands ready to go, and I'm going to just arrange them just a little bit like that. And you can also feel free to group them with Command and G, and you can also feel free to add some other cool elements to them by, you know, just pulling them in from that design panel right here. Right click, arrange, bring to front. There we go. We have some cool design elements going on here. And here, this one might have something else. Maybe these stars that are going to be pink. Arrange, bring to front. There we go. Pretty cool, right? This is how I would like for you to use these assets, just experimenting, you know. It doesn't have to be anything, you know, anything crazy. I just want you to experiment and to apply them to your designs. All right, cool. So this is that. We have our festival wristbands ready to go. Now you can also feel free to add a time for your movie and any other additional information that you want to add. Cool. Stony saying, I love the Adobe community. You all rock. Yeah, that's so true. It's such a great community to learn design together. Awesome. All right, so my friends, now we have that set, and I'm going to click Command Option and 2 to unlock the background, and you can make the background literally any color you want. So I'm going to experiment with some of these colors that I have here in my design already. So feel free to select any color, or you can also select your own. Now exporting this file, export for screens. Here you can add the location, export artboard. And once you export the artboard, I would like for you to submit it to our Discord channel right here into the challenge hashtag. There we go. All right, my friends. So this was a whole lot of fun. I'm excited to see what movies you pick and what your wristbands will look like. So thank you so much. Cool. I'm glad that you all liked it, guys. Good to see you. All right, so friends, I'm excited for the weekend. Hope you all are too. And I will see you all on Monday for another challenge. So make sure to tune in, same time, same place on Monday. We'll see you there. Bye-bye.